The reality behind success is made possible thanks to our sponsors.
Kelly on the beat, boy. Kelly on the beat, boy.
Hi, welcome to the reality behind success. I am your host, Camika Dugan, and this is my co-host,
Testa Bramble.
Today, we are going to be speaking with someone who has been abused in many different forms. I know we did an episode already with abuse,
physically
but,
abused and sexually abused.
But I think this topic needs to be dealt with and talked about on a wider scale and a little more often.
And more in depth about how that physical abuse really impacts someone's life as a woman.
Yeah, because the thing about it is, Kester, you know, sometimes so many homes, it do have the abuse.
Yeah.
Whether it's physical, verbal, and we tend not to talk about it or
ignore it, put it on the sidelines.
Yeah, the signs. So we'll be having a guest on shortly who will be able to explain what she went through and how she dealt with it, and also how she
came out successfully.
Yeah, in this situation. So we'll be right back and we'll have her on. Welcome back to the reality behind success. Today, as we told you earlier, we'll be speaking with someone dealing with abuse. And today we have none other than Camika Letchie. Hi Camika, and welcome to the reality behind success.
Hi, it's a pleasure to be here.
It's a privilege to have you because you sent us a message on Facebook.
Yes.
And when I read your story, to be honest, we're taping now. But when I read your story, I probably read this story for probably about 10 people that said they, because it was so interesting to hear when, you know, people, they are not sure what the abuse is. They go through situations and they feel it's okay to go through situations when it's actually abusive. Yeah, when it's actually abusive. So Camika, again, I'm glad that you're here, that you can share your story for yourself.
Yes.
And be very open with us. I'd like you to express how it all began, how you end up in this cycle of abuse.
Well, I grew up, as a little girl, I grew up without a dad around, and I always had a longing to have my father there. At the age of 14, I was raped by an acquaintance, and I confided in one person, a friend, and in response to that, he raped me also. And that did something to me that affected my life for years to come. I decided at that point in time that I should get back at all men. And at the age of 16, I became involved in an abusive relationship that lasted for 6 months.
Okay. 1 minute. You know, you tend to hear a lot that girls who got raped, they decide to get back at men, and I think that's the motive. And like every time you hear somebody who was a rape victim, I don't even like to use that word, but still they tend to say, here what, a man do me this,
I'm going to
all
get
men,
back at
I'm going
it,
to get
yeah.
back at all men. And then
That's
you're
the
hurting
main
yourself
motive.
in the process of
Yes,
it.
you are.
Because in
Yeah.
the end result, the men might move on, and then you're the one that left with responsibilities, left
Yes.
broken, and that
And
kind of
hurt
thing.
inside.
Did
Yes.
you ever confide in a parent or a aunt, someone, a relative that's close to you, but more an adult that could be able to help you out of the situation?
Well, at that point in time, it was difficult for me to confide in any adults because my mom worked extra time to make sure she took care of me. And I just didn't have the confidence to tell any of my uncles or aunts. So I
Okay.
confided
Yeah.
in that one friend.
Yeah.
Wow.
And after that friend rape you, what you decided to do after that? Because I mean, after you confide in someone and they did that, then to confide in
makes it
somebody
twice as
else, I
hard.
mean, like,
Yes.
it's
Yeah.
difficult. So what was your process after that?
Well, after that, I decided that I would get back at men at whatever cost. And I set out to hurt men. And I was doing well at it, sorry to say, but I decided that that was my way of getting back. Because in my mind, they were all bad. From my dad, go straight back up.
So after you said at this point you got into an abusive relationship at
Yes.
16. I mean 16 is a tender age
Yes.
Yeah.
to get into abusive relationship. Tell us how this relationship went.
Well, basically, the person, what attracted me to the person is that he seemed to be a sense of security for me, and he was a bit older. So I looked to him as a father figure, and I thought he would protect me. But that
Okay.
protection turned on me because at the time he was somewhat of a bad boy, not like we know it today. And I felt that that would protect me, and it was turned on me.
At 16. So
Yes.
how did you come out of this relationship?
Well, it took a lot. I would have to stay at school. I would have to sometimes wait back very late because he would be outside the school waiting for me.
Waiting.
Yes, so I'd wait till probably after dark or jump the back fence, make wrongs to get home because I lived in the same area. But
Yes.
eventually he left me alone.
Wow.
That's like you were an adult at 16.
Yeah.
Because
Yes,
like
already.
this is something that you wouldn't hear a 16-year-old having to go
Right.
through in life.
Yeah.
This is something that, okay, an adult might have to duck. She might have to duck this
Yeah.
man or some kind of thing, but you had to actually, did it ever stop, or when did you think that that abuse in your life actually came to an end?
Well, what happened, a particular incident took place. I remember he choked me until I blacked out a day. And that's when I knew I had to get out.
Okay.
So I started ducking and hiding and doing all these things. But eventually he did leave me alone.
Okay. So on to your next abusive relationship, your marriage.
Right.
Tell us about this marriage.
After that relationship at 16, I met who I thought was my knight in shining armor. And I was married at 23.
Okay.
Married for 14 years. 6 years, so it's 20 years in all, 6 years before marriage. And that entire marriage was abusive. I experienced all types of abuse. Sexual, emotional, verbal, physical, spiritual, all of them.
Okay.
I just wanted to find out, before you entered this marriage, did he show any signs that he would be abusive?
There were a lot of signs, but I don't think that I was educated or I understood abuse enough to know that these were warning signs. Sometimes you refer to them as red flags.
Yeah.
So he was verbally abusive before our marriage, emotionally abusive, but it's only after the marriage that I saw the physical and the sexual abuse.
Okay. So this still didn't at all not make you want to go into it still? I mean, you're seeing the signs and you still went ahead full force.
The thing about it is that at that point in time, I thought that it was my fault. Maybe if I did something better or I
different.
didn't, yes, or I
Yeah.
didn't oppose something,
Yeah.
you know, I always thought it was my fault that I caused the argument.
Oh, okay, I understand.
So how, I know I read in your story about you even trying to go to school
Yes.
and he would tear up your books and that kind of thing. Explain that to us.
Yeah.
Well, during the marriage, I started doing a bachelor in psychology. And during that time, it was very difficult because there were times he ripped up my books. There were times he would quarrel all night. He would mash up furniture. It was very difficult for me to study, but I still pursued my degree.
Okay, what made you choose psychology though? Because I mean, both of them are closely linked. Your abuse and psychology. What made you go into psychology?
Well, at the time, at that time, I still had not seen myself as a victim of domestic violence.
Okay.
But I knew that rape was a form of abuse, and I wanted to help other people who had been through that trauma. So I decided that I would study psychology.
Okay.
When we come back, we will hear how she came out of it successfully and what did she do to get her, to condition her mind to come out of abuse, because we all know sometimes when you're in an abusive relationship on the outside looking in, it's easy to get out. But
Yes.
mentally, when you speak to people who've been through abuse, it is very difficult and a struggle to get out of that situation. So she will explain to us how she did it, how she motivates herself to come out of the situation. And we'll be right back.
Whoa, whoa, are you coming? Are you coming? Hey, hey. What if you wait? What if you wait? Oh yeah. Provocation, provocation. That's right. What if you wait? What if you wait? Time, that's right. Time, that's right. Time, beach man, beach man. Whoa, whoa. Hand in the air, hand in the air. Beach man, beach man. Whoa, whoa. Stress away, every day, every day.
Hi and welcome back to the Reality Behind Success. Today we are speaking with Camika Letchie, and she is sharing her experience with us with being in an abusive relationship. And now we will just speak about her successes and her overcoming of this relationship. Okay, I know you said that you only observed that you're in an abusive relationship at school. Did you know that you were in an abusive relationship before that, or you wasn't feeling that you were in an abusive relationship?
Well, the thing about it, in psychology, we refer to something called battered wife syndrome. And that causes the victim to go through a lot of guilt and denial.
Okay.
Right? So basically, I was in denial at that point in time.
Okay, so you realized this through the teachings that you got from school.
Yes, in a particular course.
So when you were being abused, whether it be physically especially, let's look at the physical part of it, right? You still didn't think that, hey, this is not right, I shouldn't be I shouldn't be like this, I shouldn't be getting licks, he shouldn't be
is not
raising his
normal.
hand at me at all? You
Yes.
wasn't thinking that at all?
Yes, there were many times in a marriage I would say I should not be in this, I need to come out. But yet still in the back of my mind there were times I would blame myself, and then there were times like a lot of people, and I know those folks cared about me, but you know, sometimes they would say, well, you know, divorce, God doesn't like divorce, because at this time I by now I'm a Christian, so I'm also thinking about divorce and how God would say that. So all those things were a battle for me in my mind.
Okay, so during this time of your marriage, that is when you gave your life to Christ?
Yes.
During the period of the marriage?
I had given my life to Christ before I got married, just before I got married. But my Christian walk became stronger during my marriage, because it was my faith in God, I believe, that kept me
Through the
during
marriage.
those times.
Okay. And how did you now come out of that? How did you say, okay, this is my final day,
Yeah,
this
enough
I'm
is
not
enough.
going to take any more of this, I'm out of here? When did you decide that that was it for you?
Well, shortly after the course and having my eyes opened, there was a particular incident where my head was slammed through some louvers, and I realized I could have died.
Wow.
And it was at that point in time I said, this is it, enough is enough, I am okay. And that wasn't an easy walk. There was a lot of struggles behind that to actually get out and have no more contact.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's 20 years you have dedicated to one man.
Yes. So well, for me, I had already left the marriage emotionally, but it was hard for him to leave me. So I took out restraining orders. I had to follow the law through its course. And also I had to be vigilant because there were a lot of other things that he did during that time of separation before we actually got divorced.
Okay.
So for instance, there was stalking. There one time something was put in a drink I had. There were things like that. And before he actually left the home, there were times he would just be up 3, 4 in the morning just looking at me with a knife in his hand. So I had to really trust and depend on my faith. And by the time the restraining order took effect, he eventually left the home and things like that.
I mean, God had to keep you.
Yeah,
because
I
a
mean-
man to be with a knife in his hand just looking at you like...
And how when you saw that, like what was your first reaction?
Yeah.
Seeing that this man over you with a knife.
Well, honestly, I was very afraid. But at that time, well, by this time, remember, I'm almost completed my degree. So I know that I can't show fear even if I feel fear.
Yes, you have that
And
understanding.
I decided that I need to take my power back. So, I would not display fear. And of course, I prayed and I would ask God to protect me. But I was very afraid.
Okay. And because of this, I know you have a program that you're involved in now
Yes.
for battered women and that kind of thing. Would you like to explain your program to us?
Well, I'm about to launch, it's an NGO. It's called Rise, Woman Rediscover Your Strength. And I am gearing it towards not just battered women, but all victims of abuse.
Okay.
I want to take them through a 12-week therapeutic session so that I can recondition their minds. Because the thing is, when you go through abuse, you need to be reconditioned because abuse is a cycle and you can go back into a similar cycle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's so true. So you will be hosting this alone?
Well, I have other therapists with me that will be helping me. I have a lot of other help in terms of different things. You need motivational speakers, you need
Yes.
sponsors. So yes, I'm gathering a lot of help and I will not be doing it alone. I will have help. Yeah.
Do you have
Okay.
like a Facebook page or something that someone
People
could
could
follow? Because
contact
if
us.
someone listening to you now
Yeah,
and
going
would
through this
like that going
situation.
through this and would like to come out of it or like to be a part of what you're doing, do you have anything that they could reach you or contact you on?
Well, for now, they can use my email address or my phone number. Shortly, I'm going to have my page up on Facebook and we're going to have the launch in September.
Okay.
Okay. Can you give them your email address?
Sure. My email address is cna.mcletchie, MCLETCHIE @gmail.com.
Okay. So they can get help because I think that forum is very interesting and a lot of people don't do something like that for battered women. Like
Yeah.
actually have like a
Well, then you remember
conference
she said now it's
helping.
not really for battered women only, right?
Yes, it's
all
for
It's
abuse,
for all type of abuse.
Yes.
So that's even a wider range.
Yes.
Okay, Camika,
I didn't give my number. It's 338-2218.
Okay, so you can contact her.
Now I would like for you to tell the viewers, women who are being abused physically, mentally, socially, spiritually, as you
Yeah.
said, would you tell them a word of encouragement or a word that you think that you would have loved to hear when you was in that particular situation?
Yeah, that can help them come out.
Well, firstly, I would say to anybody that's going through any type of abuse, you need to get out. It's not something that you should be in. Get out and seek help, and you need to tell someone, because if you tell someone, then you have that support. If you don't tell anyone, then you empower the abuser,
Yeah.
because what they do is seek to isolate you.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank
Thank
you
you
so
so
very
much for sharing this
You're welcome.
story. It was
Yeah,
very
because the thing is,
interesting.
we, as I said, we had abuse on the show before, but you
Yeah.
see everybody go through something totally different
completely different
in the abusive relationship. And we
Yes.
so thank you for sharing another side to abuse.
Yes.
Another side to an abusive and
Yeah,
how you
your
get out, because
version.
your
Yeah.
version was totally different coming
Different.
out especially. And we just want to say thank you so much.
You're
Yes,
welcome.
thank
And
you.
we're so happy to have you on The Reality Behind Success.
It's an honor to be here.
Okay, and we'll be right back.
Whoa, whoa, are you coming? Are you coming? Hey, hey, what if you wait, all yeah, for vacation, that's great. What if you wait, all yeah, time, that's right, time, kill time, beach, man. Whoa, whoa, hand in the air,
and welcome to the giveaway segment. I am your host for today, Ananda, and we are at Caribbean Smoothies, one of our main sponsors for this giveaway segment. Tell us your name, sir.
Hello, my name is Abdullah Date.
Abdullah Date.
Yes.
Tell us what made you start this business.
What made me start this business? Well, it stepped down from my family. My family doesn't have a lot of business, and I just was trying something, and I started selling sucker bag out of a little cooler, pulling around Point 410 area to all the local business, and from there, I'm here now.
So he started off selling soccer bags at the price of?
I started off selling 4 and 8, then I raised to 5 and 10. And now I'm from sucker bag, I start selling juice. From juice, I start selling punch. From punch, I start selling chow. And I'm just doing it. I just inquire all of it, and I'm doing chow, smoothies, protein shakes, energy drinks, health drinks, slushy, and the list go on,
All right, so we have Ambition in Point Fortin. He started off selling soccer bags at the price of 4 and 5 in a cooler, pulling around. And now my boy here has a cart selling smoothies, protein shakes, you name it. Punch, chow. What kind of chow?
I'm doing mango, I'm doing Portugal, I'm doing pomerac. And everybody love pineapple.
Abdullah, tell us how old are you?
For me, I'm 28. And I'll be 29 in November, so I'm a young man still.
All right, so what inspired you to come from soccer bags to protein shakes, punches, smoothies?
It's how I could say there's only progress, We can't stay in one place forever, You could never be content out in this world. I want the finest thing, so I have to work hard for it. And how I could say it, I always like working for myself. I don't like to work for business. I like to make business.
All right. Let's see Abdullah make me a nice smoothie. I think I would have banana and beetroot.
You want a smoothie?
Thank you.
I'll make that quick for you. All right. Yeah, how I can say, back in the days, everybody used to use blenders. But I have blenders for the smoothies, and I have blenders for the punch, smoothies with the bullet, ninja, upgrade, fast.
So it's a quick fix.
Put a banana. Yeah, smoothie is more or less milk. Punch is milk. So I'm trying to give it everything more healthy. So I just give you a little bit of condensed milk. Nestle full cream. Just a little touch to soften it up. Bitters. A little touch of mixed essence. This is to give you glucose. This is to give you like an energy booster.
We have glucose, liquid glucose for the energy. We have a little, what is it? Not too much milk, and it's not too sweet, right? It's not a bad habit. It's actually a healthy drink. It's not a punch that we'll make at home with a lot of sugar, a lot of milk, and a lot of artificial flavors. But we have ripe bananas. We have, what is that?
It's bananas, beetroot, You know, glucose, that's the regular essence and everything, but I'm trying to go all natural, not no artificial. Everything you get come here, you see what I make, you see it on the spot, and it tastes good.
This is amazing. Wait, let me take another sip. The real deal, guys. Come down to Caribbean Smoothies. This is amazing. All natural, really tasty, and really healthy. Point Fortin, opposite the park, Caribbean Punches. Thank you, Abdul.
All right, well, you know, I hope y'all enjoy your day, and, you know, everybody come out and visit me. You know, I open from 2 p.m. to 2 a.m. every single day, Sunday to Monday, 24/0.
And welcome back. You know, Kester, this is so informative to me.
Yes.
Because, you know, we hear about the abuse. And to see someone 15 years of age that start off with abuse at 15, I mean, like, that
enter
is...
that relationship.
Yeah,
I mean, like
that
that's
is...
a real tender age.
It just, and then, too, it allows you to, even if you have girl children, to please talk to them concerning men
And
touching
the
them
signs.
and that kind of thing. And not
Yes.
only signs with the abuse, because remember, she was raped. At a particular age, she didn't want to confide in her
And-
parents. And she confided in somebody
And
else.
they rape her
and
too.
they did
I
the
mean,
same
like-
thing. So, you know, it's like, it just make you think
Yeah.
that this actually takes place. We might be home in a safe haven, and knowing that this is actually the reality of what is taking place on the outside.
And then to go into another abusive relationship for 20 years, I mean,
And what
that's
she
a lot.
says is it's like a cycle. You know,
Yeah.
so like your mind is conditioned, and this is what you look for in a particular person, not knowing that it might be abusive because it's something that you like now. So,
Yes,
you know
yes,
what I
she
mean?
get accustomed to
Yeah.
that.
So, I mean, like, this was really informative. I enjoyed doing this show today.
Yes.
I hope you all had a good and informative afternoon.
And whoever even going through something like this, I hope it helps you all too to help
to want to
come
come
out of this. Yeah.
You
And
know?
understand that it is not normal, it is not right.
Yes. So we just want to thank Camika Letchie for being here and actually opening up and expressing and explaining her in-depth secrets to us. And we'll also like to tell Clifton Hill Beach Resort, thank Clifton Hill Beach Resort for allowing us to use their premises and for allowing us to use this space, as well as
And here as well at Clifton Hill Beach Resort, we are hosting our launch. This will be on the 27th of August. We would like you all to come out, participate, and support us. It will be a launch and dinner as well as a gospel concert.
Yeah.
Come out, support us. We will be so grateful. If this story has touched you, or if you have a story on your own to come and share, you can upload it on Facebook to The Reality Behind Success. Send us a message, send us your
Yes.
story. Email, you can email us at trbs.tt@gmail.com. We will be so grateful to have you on our show. This was the reality of Camika Letchie. What's your reality?
The reality behind success was made possible thanks to our sponsors.